So I was still getting some questions about how to make current measurements. So I've deleted the two multimeters we had here before, and now I want to measure the current in this branch. So the idea is to measure the current in a branch, you have to intercept the current. So either I have to delete this wire or delete this wire and insert a current meter. So I'm going to choose to delete this one, and we will add a multimeter. And the idea is the multimeter has to intercept the current. So what you want to do is to, instead of going directly to ground, you go through the multimeter back to ground, like that. Okay. Now if I just turn on the voltage again, let's go ahead and dial this thing back to 10 volts where we had it before. Okay. And if I just turn on the multimeter, this thing comes out to be 7.67 volts. Well, that's not what we had before. We had 6.75. And the reason you probably can guess, but I'll tell you anyway, is that in voltage measuring mode, a multimeter has a very high internal resistance. In other words, in order to avoid drawing current from the circuit whose voltage drop you're measuring, you want the resistance of the multimeter to be much higher than the resistance in the circuit. But the trouble with measuring current is if you put a multimeter in a current measuring position where it intercepts current, but you leave it in the volts mode, its internal resistance will completely swamp the resistance in the circuit, and you will have changed the behavior. Notice this current is different than it was before because we're now in volts mode. So if I switch this to amps mode, the current pops back up again, and the current in this branch is 1.21 milliamps. The current in the whole thing is 3.25, so that means the current in this branch must be something like, what, 2.04 milliamps. 3.25, I've got 1.21 going down this branch. I must have 2.04 going down this guy. Let's just to check on that, let's go back to the SPICE simulation and let's look at the log and see if that's consistent. Right, here we go, 2.04 going down R2, 1.21 in R3, and 3.25 in R1. So SPICE agrees with 123D circuits, and that's how you measure current. You have to put the meter in line with the current you want to measure and make sure you switch to current mode.